Okay, I want to welcome everybody to the November Planning Commission meeting. I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. And we'll start off with the attendance.
Wendell Miller,
Here.
Zach Moore here. Justin Cawthorn is absent. Cheryl Monfee. Shirley Hatley is absent. Luke Duffield.
Not here either.
John Choke.
No.
Larry Smith. And Cody Black. And Eric Westcott. We barely have a quorum.
We do have a quorum.
No, we do.
All right, mark me down as voting on these two. So, all right. Okay, we got the minutes from the October meeting. Commissioners, what's your pleasure there?
I move that we accept the minutes as written.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve last month's minutes. All those in favor acknowledge by saying aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carried. All right. We have no old business. We have item number 1 is a large-scale development located at 2400 East Main Street submitted by Aldi on behalf of Rico LLC. Sarah, you got a staff report on that?
Yes, sir. So this is the large-scale development for the Aldi grocery store. Board of Adjustment did just approve variances for their wall articulation, for the roof articulation, and the cross connection. So I may or may not get that correct in this presentation, but I will try. The existing conditions that this is a 2.46 acre parcel along East Main. It is zoned C2 highway commercial with the various commercial uses in the area. It's located across from Walmart, where the old Motorsport Authority building is, and in this area we see plenty of different commercial uses: Splash Car Wash, Chili's, AutoZone, Dollar General, etc. I accidentally hit that too quickly. So this is being reviewed as a large-scale development due to the size of the structure, which is 19,631 square feet. It will be subject to site plan review, and we will complete that and do that at the time of the building permit application. The proposal does meet the setback, the area / setback requirements and parking requirements. Applicant applied for variances that were approved. There is a 5-foot and clear width sidewalks required along East 2nd Street and East Main Street. Public Works is recommending the in lieu of fee be paid for the East 2nd Street side. That would be due at the time of the building permit. The applicant is working with staff to finalize the street tree landscaping requirements, which will be confirmed as part of the site plan review. And then Public Works is requesting adjusting the detention as outlined in their comments. There are a lot of comments I could go through every single review item with you, but I just highlighted the comments that are still kind of in process. To keep this as a short presentation, so it is staff's recommendation to approve the large-scale development to allow construction of a new retail with the conditions that they'll provide the details as noted as being required in the staff report to confirm compliance for site plan review. Submit civil site plans showing compliance with the regulations regarding drainage, and submit payment for the in lieu of fee at the time of building permit issuance. As a result of the findings that the applicant has expressed their commitment to adhere to the zoning regulations, and the applicant demonstrates compliance with the regulations within Section 7 of the Land Subdivision and Development Code. Now, if you want, I can go through all of the items to show that they're in compliance, but that is our recommendation.
Thank you, Sarah. Sir, you want to step back up and finish what you started? You would state your name for the record again?
Sure, again. My name is Joseph Howley. I'm a civil engineer with CEDC in St. Louis, and I'm here on behalf of Aldi Incorporated. We also have Mr. Chad Lane, who's the director of real estate with Aldi here with us, and I'd like to just make a little presentation on the store we'd like to bring to Russellville. And we'd first like to thank the Planning Commission for hearing our request tonight. We'd also like to thank the city staff and everybody for getting us to this point, and helping us through the application process. So we've not done anything in Russellville before, but we're hoping to get here soon. So it's a large-scale development. Site location, right there in that main corridor. As Sarah noted, we're across from the Walmart location. There's a little, just kind of zooming in here. The lot is the area shaded in blue. We're on the south side of East Main Street. We're on the north side of East 2nd Street. As you know, this property was formerly used for a car dealership. It's the motorsport building is still there. That's just an aerial view of that. You can see where we are in relation to the surrounding businesses. This, again, when I go to the plans, everything turns 90 degrees. North is to the right. This is just a look at what we call our existing condition plan. It has basically pavement on the north half of the site and the building. That's all planned to be removed and replaced with our proposed layout. This is kind of a quick view of our proposed layout on the site. I just kind of stuck it in there to give some perspective. You see the building there is going to be in the central west part of the site. The south part, that little circular area is a stormwater detention basin. So we have the parking then on the north and the east side of the building. And this is the one, I have to spend a few minutes on this, maybe not a few minutes, but my technician drew up a color rendering, so I want to take a little time with it at least. She really worked hard on this, but kind of makes it pop, they say. So the building there in orange, as Sarah noted, 19,631 square feet. It is our 9.0 prototype. This is the most current one. There might be another one in development, but this is the current ones that we're building, and we're really, really excited about this building. And I'll show you some pictures here and some photos actually of a recently store that it's a nice looking store, and I think you'll appreciate it. So just looking at the green here, you can see the tree landscaping, I think, is still being worked on a little bit. We had the same issue that there was a variance about some front trees because of the overhead power lines on Main Street. So we're going to work and we're going to do whatever we need to with staff to get it. But we're proposing some nice plantings, especially in the interior of the parking lot as well, with those caps to divide up the parking areas. Here we go. We got cross connection and really a good flow to this site. The 2.46 acres is a nice size site. We try to shoehorn these things onto smaller sites, and this is kind of the size that we like to see. It gives us area to lay out the parking lot, to have some green space. The most prominent green space feature, of course, is in the upper right here, which is the southwest corner of the lot. That's the stormwater detention basin, where there's going to be a few changes to that to make sure we interface with the 2nd Street and the coming improvements. In the interim, we're going to be discharging into a ditch. I believe the city has some future plans for 2nd Street. We're going to make sure everything fits in with the current condition, the upcoming condition, and all that. We've got a lot of, we like our sites to be really functional, give the customer a good experience. Part of that's parking, coming in, getting into the building, and not fighting for space. We don't anticipate the parking lot to be jam-packed full. We like to have the 90 spaces, so there's a good flow of people coming and going, and not feel like, you're looking around for a space or crowded or whatever. So I guess I spent enough time on the color version. Let's move on. These are the colored building elevations prepared by the architect. It's a really nice looking building. Let me talk a little about the materials. So the wall panels, the main ones, which appear on here to be kind of the gray, the main face of the walls. They are insulated metal panels, and they're silver and granite gray. We have the slat treatments around the walls. The bottom, we have a course of masonry veneer, brick look. Everything is just really nice. It's got a lot of coping. The soffits and the canopies, it's all mostly aluminum. It's a really nice appearance. We would just buy one in, was that Cabot? Yeah, Cabot, that they're finishing up, and very similar to this one. But just a bright store. You go inside, and it's got the nice top, high roof. The peak of the pitched entryway is 26 feet. The regular walls are about 18, a little over 18 feet, 18 feet 2 inches. This is kind of the view. You're not going to see much. This is the view looking east at the west side and then the south side. So that view at the top is pretty much blocked by the auto center, the tire and auto store that's on the west side of it. So you're not really going to see that at all. But that is the back end of the building. Just mirror of the front with a little less of the adornments there and not such a visible area. These were the exhibits that I showed with the variance request, and as those requests have been granted, we'll just kind of go through those. You see the slats again on the window. This was what I talked about, the possible bump outs on the west side and why those were not desirable here with the loading dock and why we didn't want to put an articulation there. The roof line issues that were approved, as I said. Really, those are the exhibits. So let's just keep going. This is a store that was, I think it was just opened this month, 2 weeks ago in Wisconsin. This is basically the same store, though it is mirrored. So ours is going to be flipped mirror version of this. But that's really the appearance. You see the colors. You can see the window slats there. I'm sorry, go back. This is the long side of the store. So this is kind of what you would see if you're looking at our east face. And this would be, again, mirrored what you would see from Main Street on the north side. Yeah, brand new store. We hope to have a grand opening like this here in Russellville. I think they give away a lot of treats when they have those openings, so don't miss that. Just to look inside the store, it's just, all these really raise their game as far as the customer experience, the aesthetics. Really, it's got kind of that warehouse effect, but people like Aldi. Everything's laid out to make things run efficiently in the store, not for just the customer, but for the employees and restocking and everything. Is really a lot of thought put into these stores of how they work, the floor plan, etc. Just another look in there at this new store, and really that's just about it. There's a look at the cooler freezer that I alluded to. It's obviously one of our critical components is keeping the food at the right temperature. So again, looking in the cooler, and that's really, I believe, what we'd like to present, and certainly happy to answer any questions you may have.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Ms. Cody, I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
All right.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve this request as presented. All those in favor acknowledge by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carried. All right, item number 2, preliminary plot for Charleston Place subdivision, submitted by Barrett and Associates on behalf of Russell Realty, LLC. Sarah, you got a staff report for what's on that?
Yes, absolutely. So this is preliminary plat for Charleston Place. It is located north Elmira and Russell Road, kind of where that 90-degree turn is. Russell Road dead ends into dead end of North Elmira there. And it is a 16-lot subdivision request. It's a vacant parcel currently. It's zoned R3, medium, high-density residential. Most of the properties within the area are either vacant or developed as commercial structures. We've got childcare, the postal service, a funeral home, the nonprofit center, One Roof, Focus Fitness is in this area. So there's a lot of commercial, and this is going to be a residential pocket within that area. It is zoned R3, and so given that it's zoned R3, medium high density residential, applicant is proposing to subdivide the property into 16 lots for construction of 2-story duplex structures is what the current proposal is. It's a subdivision, so we'll treat it as a subdivision under the Land Subdivision Development Code. The review of the plat has been completed with application requirements that have met all the requirements. And just like I said on the last presentation, I could go through and say they've met this one, but I'm just highlighting some of the items that are still outstanding. And then noting that the approval does expire after 1 year unless a 1-year extension is granted if this is approved. As long as work is being completed, that 1-year period is on a rolling. So as long as they're moving forward, it keeps going. The following items need finalized prior to the final plat. Covenants and restrictions were not submitted and will need to be submitted for reviewed. Sidewalks need to be along the entire frontage for North Elmira. And then just noting that the landscaping was not requested for deferral for the home builders, so it will need to be done prior to final plat. We will need to have a master drainage plan provided showing positive drainage from each of the building pads. And it was noted that that a portion along the north property of several of the properties is located within a special flood hazard area, and floodplain development permits will be required. As a result, it is staff's recommendation to approve the preliminary plat with the following conditions. Submit the covenants and restrictions for review at the time construction plans are submitted. Provide a master drainage plan showing positive drainage away from each building pad on each individual property, and indicate private drainage easements where necessary to retain positive drainage. All utility easements need to be shown and graded out to the master drainage plan, and ensure notes on application are addressed prior to final plat. That is as a result of the findings that the application submitted conforms to the application requirements outlined in 4.2.1 of the Land Subdivision Development Code. The application meets the area requirements outlined in the Russellville Zoning Code. The roadways have adequate capacity to handle additional traffic to and from this subdivision, and duplex developments are a permitted use in medium high density residential zones. Are there any questions?
This is just north of the new post office, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Dave, you got anything to add to that?
The development was done prior, it was approved years ago by Kurt Jones and Associates. He was the one that had submitted it, if you recall. Very little change other than adding all the new codes, the landscaping, sidewalk, and all of that. They just never built it. They started to work, they cut out the street, and then stopped for whatever reason, I don't know. But now that housing isn't in need, they're bringing it back. Sarah did email me and talked about changing my cover letter to, because she was the one that actually alerted me to, hey, do you want to ask for, what was it we were asking for? Deferment. The deferment on the street trees to be put in, and when the sidewalks are put in, when they develop each lot. And I thought I got it back there. I'll check on my email, but yeah, I had changed it, and if I didn't get it back to her, that's my fault. So, having said that, since she did alert me, and it was possibly, I'd prefer that you go ahead and grant that as well, and I can get her the letter. I know I've done it. I typed it out, thought I'd put it on the portal. She hadn't looked this week on the portal yet. There's a lot of things going on, but it's a simple matter. I mean, I'd rather, we'd rather put the trees. When you put in the street trees in there, if you put them in prior to construction of the house, they're going to get damaged. Yeah. So, and the same thing with the sidewalk. That's why we've always deferred the sidewalk and the trees. And I didn't know we were supposed to ask for it, but then she told me. She sent me an email. Hey, you may want to ask for this, for the deferment. Yeah. I just didn't get it. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I just don't want to damage the trees or the sidewalk. That's usually the last thing you put in place. The very back part of it is the very tip. No. 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 Well, we actually have to cut it down. Yeah, no, the northern part, they put a bunch of fill in there for whatever reason. and it's too high. Yeah. But the floodplain comes in right there at that top, the little corner, like I think one lot or 1.5 the lots. It's not much, and it won't affect, yeah, it's not. Mhm. Yeah. Oh, it's way above it, you know. That's not the issue. It's too much dirt, which is, for some reason, I don't know. They brought it in from somewhere and then decided to develop and. Well, I've had to deal with that before, and that's a real issue. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're doing that in Sherwood right now, a subdivision there that has a floodplain, and they have BFEs, and they adopted the 2 foot above. So we had to go 2 foot above. But that's the only thing I had was just that. I thought I had given her the letter, and knowing me, either it's there or it's on my computer, scanned, waiting to be put in there, and I got distracted. But I don't know, it's a minor thing. But it is, like I said, you know, I know she would like to save the trees. We're all about the trees and the sidewalks, and we definitely don't want to put them in and then get them damaged. So,
All right.
that was the only thing I asked.
Dave, your reputation is safe with us. All right.
Sarah, I don't have any problems with the deferment on that. I know you guys, as far as verbiage for a motion on that, is that something that we can do from a preliminary plat perspective?
Yes, you would just grant, so you could make a motion to approve as submitted by staff with the allowance for the applicant to defer the street trees to construction of the buildings, which Dave is correct. I emailed him and said, do you want to do this? I never received anything that I could find prior to getting the staff report, and I did not check it this week. It's been a little busy. So that's a motion that you could make
Deferment of the street trees for what?
to construction with the
to
homes.
construction with the
That's
homes.
what I was talking about, as long as it's in there somewhere that.
Yes, sir.
do it after their construction.
Yes, sir.
You gonna make that motion?
Developer for the subdivision is also doing construction of the homes on the lots as well, Dave? Okay, yeah.
But even if it's not, if we
We're still
put it
good.
as a condition that then whoever constructs the homes would be responsible for that street tree.
Then
In order to get the certificate of occupancy too, I guess you won't get that until you get check off.
And we'll have the same condition on the final plat that the street trees were deferred with the preliminary plat, and we'll put that when they come back to get the final plat, so it's reiterated that that is to be built by the home builder for those duplexes.
Just make a motion for that.
what Sarah said.
Yeah, what Sarah said. Yeah, what Sarah said.
I would make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I hear a second? All right, we have a motion and a second to approve this request as presented. All those in favor acknowledge by saying aye. 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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carried. All right. Zone text amendment to adopt proposed changes to the Russellville zoning code submitted by City of Russellville. Sarah, take it away.
Yes, so the Long Range Planning Committee held its quarterly meeting on September 16th, and I looked back, and that was past the deadline for the October meeting, so that's why it's just now coming to Planning Commission for November. And these are the following items that are being forwarded to you all for consideration. Update Article 2.3.1, which is the general description for R1 single-family zone. This is correcting density for consistency. It was one place in it had one density in Article 2.3.1 and another density in the area requirements table, and so we just made those match. Update Article 3.225, commercial building design. This is going to add exceptions for articulation along side and rear walls, so the Board of Adjustment would not have had to hear the variance requests that they did for the articulation for the Aldi if this had been passed. Update Article 3.2261, parking layout. And this is for public or private schools, hospitals, or places of worship. And this is gonna just provide an additional allowance. They can either meet the code requirements that 50% of the parking is, no more than 50% of the parking is in front, like less than 50% of the parking is between the building and the road. I can say that at one point, say it correctly. The rest of it has to be to the side or the rear, but sometimes for those types of structures, we've noticed that that might cause some safety concerns for that type of operation, a school, et cetera. So we provided an alternative method of compliance with this update. Article 4.1, permitted heights. This is regarding fences to be replaced in kind. So if you have a fence that is currently exceeding the zoning code requirements for height, you can still replace it exactly as it is if it got destroyed. It's a 4-foot fence in the front yard. You can replace it with a 4-foot fence. Yes. Article 4.5.3, security fencing. This is allowing security fencing for public uses, public utilities, in any zone. So if they were putting a substation or something in and they needed to have some security fencing. Article 5.11.16 regarding street trees. This is adding allowance for street trees to just be planted in the right-of-way without specifying the exact location. So currently it says street trees have to be planted between the edge of pavement and the sidewalk. This is just gonna say, as long as they're in the right-of-way. So if the sidewalk ends up being back of curb, they can still put the street trees in the right-of-way, but they're now behind the sidewalk. Whereas right now they have to be between the curb line and the sidewalk. And if you have a curb line sidewalk, there's no room to put the street trees in there. And so just cleaning that up, just saying they have to be in the right-of-way. Update Article 5.11.17D, medium and large trees. This is adjusting the measurement of the caliper. Currently, you have to measure the caliper of the tree at 4 feet high per the code. We're changing that to 18 inches, and that's more of a standard practice across the landscaping. And this was something that was brought to our attention. And when I reached out to a landscaper, those trees will still survive just as well, and it's not as burdensome for developers. Update Article 5.12.23, tree preservation credits. This kind of allows tree preservation credits to sunset after so long of a period. So you've decided you're going to save half of your property and use the credits and not have to plant so much landscaping. Well, after a period of time, you could still develop that property and meet the current landscaping requirements at the time, but not have to replant things that you use those credits for. Updating Article 6.1.11 exceptions. This is clarifying language between districts for off-street parking, just to clarify it within the El Paso zone so it's consistent. And then finally, updating Article 6.1.64, driveway lengths for commercial industrial driveways. This is just to ensure that there's adequate maneuvering space when entering a commercial industrial property from the right-of-way before having to turn into a drive-through lane or something, so that it reduces conflicts within the driveway or within the right-of-way area before entering the driveway. As a result, staff is recommending that this application be forwarded to City Council with a recommendation of approval regarding all of those zoning codes that I just talked about. And that's as a result of the findings that the Long Range Planning Committee recommends these additions and updates to the regulations. The changes align with the intent of the zoning code, and the change is consistent with the objectives outlined in Reimagine Russellville 2040 Comprehensive Plan and the Russellville Zoning Code. Are there any questions?
She did leave out the fact that that was a 3-hour meeting we had that night, putting all this together, so. Yeah, we almost called in pizza, so.
I make a motion to approve updates.
All right. We have a motion. Do I hear a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve these updates to the zoning code. All those in favor, acknowledge by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Sarah, take it away. Perfect Picture Russellville contest.
So during National Planning Month, we did a little bit of an education outreach and held a Picture Perfect Russellville photography competition. We were accepting submissions of photos for pictures and places within Russellville, and this picture stood out as being Picture Perfect Russellville. It's a beautiful picture. Not entirely positive the location, but it is in Russellville. Do you?
Isn't that behind the tire store out there on 7?
That's what I was thinking.
Tire
It's
store.
behind A1 Tire. That's where I think it's.
Oh, yeah. Between Shiloh and Pleasant View Road, yeah.
I've fished there so many times, I know where it is.
I don't remember looking.
But this
looking
was
like the Garden of
selected, and
Eden
so
there.
we will highlight this person at City Council in November.
Great picture.
Yeah, it's nice, very nice.
Yeah, I've got a lot of fish hooks in that creek.
You would ask me that question. I don't know off the top of my head.
Oh, Gene Smith, I know Gene, yeah.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you, Cody, for saving the day. Well, and this one was a fantastic picture. I just think it highlights the beauty of Russellville
It does.
and the natural areas of our community. That's everything.
Okay.
All right.
Do we need to go ahead and make the announcement on the meeting next month? We are going to be having our next month's meeting is first Thursday, is actually the same day as the Christmas parade, so we're going to be moving it to the 3rd instead of the 5th, Tuesday, the 3rd, and then we'll, okay. You won't be here? Okay. All righty. If there's no other business, we are adjourned.